Animal Crossing Rags to Riches has honestly completely changed the way I've been playing Animal Crossing recently, and I want to show you how I've optimized my island to make the most money possible every single day. If you haven't seen it, Rags to Riches is a game mode put together by Nintentalk here on YouTube. I will have the rules on the screen right now. Basically, you're going to reset your island, start a brand new island, choose a class, and based on whatever class you choose, you have different perks, different fees that you have to pay. There are 10 in-game objectives that you have to complete, and most of those revolve around making as much money as possible. So I decided to be a farmer, and one of my biggest perks is being able to sell crops, bugs, and sister fruit to Timmy and Tommy at Nook's Cranny. However, even if you're not a farmer, I feel like a lot of these different things that I have set up will benefit you as well. So I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna show you the different things that I have set up on my island, and hopefully some of these tips will help you out. One of the guaranteed ways to make money every single day is the gold spot that you will find on your island, and this will eventually grow into a money tree. So what I like to do is I like to find the gold spot every single day and make sure that you're burying 10,000 bells into it. You can risk it and bury more than that, but the chances of you getting more than 30K back if you bury more is slim, so I feel like it's just not worth the risk. Once I bury the 10,000, I do like to go ahead and dig up the sapling, and I have an area on my island dedicated to my money trees. So as you can see right here on my peninsula, I have 4 money trees all at the different stages. So this one's the one for today. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it down. This will give me my 30,000 bells. I'm just gonna gather all of that, and then I will bury the new one right here. And then tomorrow I'll do the exact same thing. This one on the far end will grow, it will have money on it. I'll cut it down, I'll bury the new one, so on and so forth, 30,000 bells every single day. As a farmer, I'm able to have 60 crops and 10 sister fruit trees that I can harvest and sell directly to the Nooks at Nook's Cranny instead of putting them in the box. You can have as many crops as you want to, as many trees as you want to, but after you cap out at 60 and 10 sister fruit trees, you have to start selling into the box. So I decided to have a dedicated spot on my island for the 60 crops, for the 10 sister fruit trees, and I know that this is the section I go to when I want to sell directly to Nooks, and then any other crops or fruit that I have anywhere else, those are the ones that I'm going to sell to the box. So I have this section, and then once it's all grown in, I just go ahead and harvest all of it at the same time, and I sell it all. I have seen some people asking about the sister fruit trees and the crops, like can you harvest 60 crops and 10 sister fruit trees every single day? That's not how I interpret the rule, but by all means, if that's how you interpret it, no one is going to send the Rags to Riches police to find you. So you do what you need to do and how you feel like the rule is. But for me, I'm only doing 60 total and 10 sister fruit trees total. So every time you do this, you're going to yield 78,000 bells per harvest. I do wonder if it would be worth it to turn on Bell Boom. So once I get my resident services built, I do think I'm going to consider that. Now this next thing has nothing to do with making bells specifically. However, I do feel like it's a good tip because in Rags to Riches, you have to be wearing a specific clothing item based on whatever class you choose. So for example, I'm a farmer. I have to be wearing these farming overalls while I'm doing specific abilities pertinent to my class. So when I want to sell the crops directly to Nooks, I have to have on these farming overalls. However, I don't necessarily want to be wearing these all the time. So I'm going to pull out my handy dandy star wand here. You can use any wand. I feel like this is something I used a ton when the game first came out, and then I kind of forgot about it. So I'm going to switch into my normal attire here, and you can just make a ton of different outfits, and then whenever you need to do your abilities, you will just switch back to your farming overalls or Whatever it is that you're using for your class, you can just have it set to your wand. And that way you won't have to keep on that same outfit all the time, but you also won't have to go back to your storage to find the specific article of clothing that you need. One thing that I feel like is important with Rags to Riches is resource collecting. You're gonna need gold, you have your money rock, but for me, my island is super open. There's not a ton of stuff. I'm not really focused on decorating right now. So the idea of making a rock garden is just kind of out of the question for me. But I would like to be able to see my rocks on my map. So once I unlock 3 stars, I do plan on just making a square around each of my rocks with some kind of pathing, probably stone pathing, that way nothing will spawn around them. But that way I will be able to open up my map and just see where all of my rocks are. I feel like some people might not need something like that because you can probably just remember where all of your rocks are. But for me, I forget everything. I can't keep up with it. So I would love to know where they are, just be able to look at my map, figure out which ones I've gone to for the day, just so I can get all of them every single day. Okay, last tip that I have for you, and this one I feel like is probably my favorite, but also probably the most difficult to explain. So, as you can see on my island, it's pretty open. There's not a ton of trees everywhere, and I have made it like that on purpose. Certain sections of my island do have some trees, as you can see here. In this little neighborhood section, I have some trees, but these are all fruit trees, specifically my native fruit. You can choose to do this however you want to. I wanted to have some of my native fruit around. I already showed you my orchard that's in the back. However, when you move towards the back of my island in this one specific section, this is where I have all of my trees. I have 11 hardwood trees down here, and then if I go up onto this cliffside right here, I have 11 cedar trees. These are all of the trees that I have on my entire island that don't have fruit on them. So every single day when I'm doing my dailies, I will come over here. I'm going to grab my net first because the first thing I'm going to do is shake all of these trees. As I shake all of the trees, you're going to see that I'm going to have coins that come out, I'm going to have wasps that come out, and I'm going to have furniture that comes out. I've seen different theories on how many trees that you need, and honestly, if you feel like you need less, then you can do less, but 22 has been working perfectly for me, and I will show you once I go through and do all of this exactly what I yield from those 22 trees. You can also see as I'm shaking them, I like to leave everything on the ground just so I can remember which trees I've been shaking and which ones I haven't. Again, it's all personal preference. That's just the only way that I can remember anything that I've done in this game, is to leave it all on the ground. So now I've shaken all of these cedar trees, so I'm going to go through and I will clean all of this stuff up before I do the next step. Now that I have shaken all of these trees, I'm going to go through and I'm going to use my stone axe to collect all of the wood from every single tree. Again, I'm just leaving the wood on the ground until I've chopped all of them, and then I'll go back and I'll clean it up at the very end. Once I finish cleaning up everything up on this cliff right here, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to do the exact same thing for these 11 trees down here. All right, I've shaken all of the trees and time to do the same thing here. I'm just going to go through and collect all of the wood from these. And after hitting all of those trees, you can see here I've got my 5 wasps for the day, 5 wasp nests, I have my 2 furniture items, and then 1,500 bells, plus I have all of the wood for the day. And I feel like this, to me, 22 trees is just a manageable amount. Plus, I'm maximizing being able to get all of the falling items from these. So this has been working out really great for me. So if you're not really worried about your star rating right now, or if you just want to use fruit trees all around your island instead of the regular trees and then just have a section for these, I think this is just a great way to optimize your island and get the most out of shaking your trees. Once I'm done with my trees for the day, then I'll just come over here and I'll place down all of my wasps, and eventually Flick is going to come and I'm going to be able to sell him all of this stuff and have a really great payday. Now, obviously, there are so many other ways that you can make money in Animal Crossing: diving, selling shells, but these are just the ways that I have modified my island layout to make it super easy for me to do my dailies and get the most money the most efficiently. Let me know what you're doing on your island if you're playing Rags to Riches. Do you plan on using any of these tips on your island, or do you have any other tips for me? Leave those down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd appreciate if you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!